Hello everybody, and welcome back to Instant Release. Today, we're talking not about a camera, not about a lens, not about anything like that. We're talking about this guy, which is the BOYA MM1 AI. So before we get into anything else, I just want to explain a little bit how I got in possession of that microphone. This is a microphone that was given to me by BOYA themselves. They approached me at the very beginning of the last December, and they basically wanted some reviews online for the launch of the microphone. That meant pretty tight deadlines. That meant like affiliated links, giveaways to put for creators and stuff like that, and I just simply didn't want to be part of that. So at first I said to them, no, I don't want your microphone, I already have one, and I don't want your thing, I don't want to do your stuff, so get lost. Basically, that's what that's what happened. But I also set up conditions for which I would be okay to work with them. And these conditions were basically no deadlines, complete creative control, and no affiliated links in any way. I don't want to give up my independence in a way. And so as a result, I kind of refused everything except the fact that, yeah, if you are agreeing with everything I want, which I would understand that you wouldn't, then send me a microphone. If you do not agree with everything that I want, just ignore me and don't send me anything. They agreed with everything and they sent me a microphone, and I don't have to give them anything prior to releasing this review. So I think it was fair game, and why not reviewing their microphone? Why not? So before we talk about the microphone itself in a bit more detail, I need to tell you what was my baseline. My baseline was this. This is, a lot of people might have recognized this pretty well. This is the Rode Video Micro. This is the microphone that I have used for the past 4 years. I bought that one in 2022 because it was very well reviewed, was very popular. It was from a pretty well-known brand, and also it was cheap. So the Rode Video Micro has been my microphone of choice for the past 4 years, and I can't say that things have been happy sailing. I've had a lot of sound problems with a lot of my cameras. With my X-T2, which I started this YouTube channel on, it was fine. But with my X-H1, it was a bit worse. On my Z6, it was worse still. And on my Olympus EM1 Mark II here, though it is better than with the Z6, it's very much not perfect at all. And I would actually appreciate to have a bit of an upgrade. So this is where the MM1 AI that I have in front of me, I kind of had hopes. But when it comes to the sound capsule itself, I did not hear that much of a difference, actually. I should say I have another camera here, which is from a friend Annabelle. It's the latest camera I've reviewed. It's the Sony a6500, and this camera has much better preamps when it comes to sound capture, etc. when you plug in a microphone, and that means that I was able to kind of compare the sound capsule from the BOYA MM1 AI and from the Rode Video Micro without having, bad preamps at the end of it, which meant that I was better able to understand the differences between these two microphones. And my conclusion was that there wasn't really that much of a difference, if a difference at all. Maybe the Rode was a little bit hotter on the signal itself, but at the default setting that the BOYA MM1 AI was running at it's the end of the day, come on. Anyway, at the default setting that this microphone was running at, it was basically the same kind of signal to noise ratio. It was basically the same amount of hissing noise in the background I was getting, and on both microphones I was needed to put some EQ in the post-production to remove that. So I guess in terms of quality for the sound capture itself, we do not have that much of a difference. However, there is one major difference when it comes to specs between that microphone here that I have in front of me that I've been talking into for the past 5 minutes and the Rode Video Micro, and that's the fact that the Rode Video Micro is a purely passive microphone, meaning that we have a jack plug at the end of it, and that's it. And we have the same thing on the BOYA, so except this one is an active microphone, and what that means is that we have preamps inside that microphone, we have a battery inside that microphone. It's not just a passive microphone running on camera power, it can run on its own power as well. So that means on my Olympus EM1 Mark II, which I'm recording on right now, that means that I can disable the option to provide power through the jack cord. That will save on battery life, I guess, and also that means that it provides a gain control on the microphone itself. So we have 3 settings. It's pretty primitive. I would say like you generally on more expensive active microphones, you see, you know, a volume knob for the gain control, and this one you just have a button and can switch between 3 settings. The settings in which I've been comparing it to the Rode Video Micro is the +0, so the default setting, and we have a -10 for very loud environments and a +20 decibels for very, you know, quaint, cozy and not very loud environments. And this has a pretty good use, actually. The one use that I have found for that +20 decibel setting is that on cameras that don't have good preamps, like my EM1 Mark II right here, I can put that microphone into that +20 mode and put the gain on the camera to the absolute minimum that I can. So on the Olympus EM1 Mark II, it goes from +10 to -10. I don't think that those are decibels, just like values, but I put it at -10, and at that kind of value, we are basically maximizing the signal-to-noise ratio. We have an extremely hot microphone, and we have the lowest noise floor possible on the camera side, and that's basically the best way that you can record sound to a camera that doesn't have great sound capture to begin with. So, while doing the editing, I realized that it's all nice and all to speak about something and not really show it. So I want to show what a bad sound with a camera sounds like, and this is what we have here. We have the BOYA MM1 AI on top of the Olympus EM5 Mark II, and the EM5 Mark II is set at -3 gain in the camera and a +0 gain on the microphone. So this sounds, in my opinion, pretty bad. Okay, so this is basically the same thing with the internal noise set at -10 and the noise on the microphone set at +20. Okay, so this is the XT1, which is the final boss of bad sound capture in a camera. This is basically the worst camera I have when it comes to using an external microphone. We're using now the BOYA MM1 AI at the +0 setting, and the camera gain is set at 3, because that's basically the middle. That's basically what the 0 would be on my Olympus cameras. So yeah, I don't think it sounds very good. And now this is the same thing, except we put the microphone at the +20 setting and the camera at the 1 microphone setting, because that's the lowest the camera can go down to. So I don't know, maybe it sounds better, maybe it doesn't. You will hear that in the video. So I'm getting pretty clean sound out of it, and I'm pretty happy with how it sounds, and I do not have to put nearly as much EQ and post-treatment to the sound in editing, which is always a great thing to have. And I think this is really the value proposition of that microphone, but we're going to talk about the price a little bit later, because there have been changes. I was writing this review based on the information that I had initially, that the microphone was about $50, because that's the price that this microphone was when I did my initial research on it before I even got it at home. Fact of the matter is, now it's been released for about a month and a half, and it's how to say that, double the price. So we're going to talk about that later. But I think the value proposition of the BOYA MM1 AI to me is that it allows cameras that do not have great sound capture to begin with to to have good quality and not rely on an external sound capture device like you would have a phone, or an external microphone that you would have to sync up the audio in editing later. It's just a pain in the butt, and I just don't want to deal with that. So being able to have good sound directly in camera despite the weak preamps that these cameras have is just a nice thing to me, and that's a nice feature of the BOYA MM1 AI for sure. Now, it's not the only feature that it has on top of this. Remember, it has an AI in the name, so that AI in the name means artificial intelligence, of course. What could it mean in 2026? I'm asking you. Do not answer, actually. That was just a rhetoric question. But the MM1 AI has AI noise reduction on device. You can just click a button. I'm going to activate it right now. So now the LED turned green, and now we have AI noise reduction activated. I'm going to turn it off right now because it's mostly for background noise and stuff like that. I don't have any background noise here, so we're not going to hear that much of a difference. It's not perfect in my experience. I do not have the ability to demonstrate that to you right now because I'm not usually recording in loud environments. If I can, and I'm going to include it in the video, maybe, then you could be able to hear it. But generally what happens with AI noise reduction softwares like we have seen on PCs, for example, for like Zoom calls and whatnot, made by NVIDIA back in the day, like in 2021, 2022, well, these features basically just, they muddied a bit your voice. Like, it's good. You are able to extract the voice and delete the rest, and it's clearer than if we just did not do any AI noise reduction at all. But the end result is that we have a bit more muddied sound at the end of it, and that's kind of what this microphone does. Now, it's a good feature. I'm not saying that it should not be there, but the good thing is that myself, which I would not be using that thing, well, you can straight up use the microphone without it. Just with the press of a button, you can disable it. So yeah, that's pretty good. I have no issues with it at all. It's there if you need it, and if you don't need it, you can very well not use it. So that's always positive. The other features that this microphone has is that, of course, since it has an internal battery, it needs to be charged, so it has a USB-C port. But that USB-C port is not just for charging the battery, it's also an output. And that's really great when you want to have better sound quality on, let's say, a phone or a laptop or a PC or whatever, where you don't have great microphones on them sometimes, especially on laptops. If you're in a Zoom call or something, if you want to have a decent enough microphone, you can just plug that in USB-C, turn it on, of course, and you will have basically an instantly recognized sound entry point to your device. And on my phone, for example, I can just plug it in, and the phone will recognize it in the default camera app, and will have the noise level and everything from the microphone directly without having to do anything else in terms of configuration or settings or whatnot, which is pretty nice, I guess. So that's just an added versatility of that microphone. But yeah, that's something that the Rode Video Micro absolutely can do. It has no gain control, no USB-C output, nothing of the sort. And if the wild idea was for me to make a phone as a cinema rig, or a more professional video rig at least, and I wanted to have like sound feedback, I could use the headphone, like the 3.5mm jack, which is used right now for the microphone output. I could use that as a headphone output to have the sound feedback directly from the microphone if my phone, for example, does not have a headphone jack, which is also great. So honestly, that's a pretty solid feature set for a microphone like that. Now we need to talk about the quality, because I think that compared to the Rode Video Macro, there is a bit of a difference in terms of, felt quality that when you have it in your hands. First of all, we need to talk about stuff like the accessory that goes with it. We have stuff like the dead cat, like the cable that is provided with it, or the shock mount. The shock mount with the Rode Video Macro is substantially better. It's a bit softer, so you have less vibrations going into the microphones. You also have like kind of a rubber ring inside it. Here, I don't know. Probably the camera will not. Yeah, okay, the camera focused on it. We have like a bit of a rubber ring in the middle of the shock mount itself, which is great. It's a great addition to that because it makes the contact with the shock mount itself softer as well, so even less vibrations coming back to the microphone. And when it comes to the cable, we have 90 degrees adapters on both ends with the cable that is provided with the MM1 AI, which just have one of the ends which is 90 degrees and one of the ends is straight, which is probably more versatile if you're on a production perspective. If you have several microphones and you want to provide the same cable on several microphones, probably that's better on that point of view. But on a consumer point of view, I would much rather have this than this, because this is always a bit annoying, especially if I want to connect it on the camera and it's on flip out screen design, and this will be in front of a substantially larger part of the screen than the 90-degree cable. So that's just another point. And lastly, there is the dead cat that you have with it. With the Rode one, it really feels like a nice plushie. It's not crunchy when you press it like that. On the M1 AI, it's actually crunchy when you press it. Like if I do this, you can hear the crunchiness of that thing, and it's much lower quality. I would say it's even smaller. So yeah, also the microphone itself is metal, but it's larger and also quite a bit lighter than this. So if you are holding the microphone in your hand, you will have a cheaper impression on the BOYA side of things. But I think it's just mostly what you feel when you have them in your hands, but it's not really what is representative of what those products actually are. So when it comes to the quality, I think the BOYA has proved that it has nice sound quality, nice feature set, and everything like that. So I think it gets a pass from me. Like, it's usable, it's not absolute garbage or anything like that. It's just cheaper feeling than the Rode product. Last thing I want to talk about when it comes to the Rode BOYA MM1 AI, which is a mouthful of a name, is the value proposition, because price-wise, I'm not super convinced of the price, because when it was $50 and was making the initial review of the Rode Video Macro when it was like $52 on their own website, I was like, okay, for basically the same price as the Rode Video Macro, we have lesser quality when it comes to materials, how it feels and stuff like that. But we also have similar sound capsule performance, and we have substantially more features. And on top of that, that gain control thing, that allows us to, give a new life to cameras that are written off as bad sound capture devices when you want to record video, like my Olympus EM1 Mark II, like my Nikon Z6, stuff like that. And so all of that means to me that, it would have been an easy recommendation for me. It would have been like eyes closed. Yes, go buy that thing, it's awesome. But at almost $90, it's like $87.50 or something like that, $87.50 on the BOYA website. I don't think it makes that much sense, unless you have a camera that has bad preamps. If you have something like an A6500, just connect a Rode Video Macro, which you can get for substantially cheaper, and you will get basically the same sound quality. With that microphone, yes, you have the ability to connect it to a laptop, to a phone, stuff like that, but unless those features interest you, I don't think that microphone has that much of a leverage and that much of a value proposition on top of these kind of thing. So, and on top of that, this is the fancy one, you know what I mean? Like, if you want to have similar sound quality to this, there are like Chinese clones of the Rode Video Macro from other brands, which cost substantially less, like $20-30 brand new. And that's not even mentioning the fact that you can get this microphone used for like $30 to $40. There's no moving parts, it's super well built, so there is absolutely no risk for you to buy one used. unlike a BOYA MM1 AI, which is substantially more complex, which has buttons, which has an internal battery, which can swell, stuff like that. My PC decided to ramp up the fans, whatever. But the main thing that I want to talk about here is really the fact that by moving that price point so much from about $50 to almost 90, we are moving the target consumer substantially. And even though I can recommend that microphone, even for that amount of money, it is not a blind recommendation that I would do like I would have done before. It's really a recommendation based on your own use case. What if the feature interests you? It's not just a thing that, yeah, it's better than the other competing product at the same price, just go buy it. That's not the same thing at all anymore. So at the almost $90 price point that it's currently at, I don't think I would recommend it to people that already have good camera or already have a solution for recording sound with their phones, stuff like that. Like typically, if I had a Sony a6500 as my main camera, the sound capture on this would be good enough that I would not feel the need to move from the Rode Video Macro. And my phone records sound pretty well, and I already have a microphone on my PC, so I would not need that microphone at all. The only reason why I need it is that I have a camera that does not have good preamps. So really that makes me ask the question, is that microphone worth it for the price? And I would say that for the AI noise reduction, if you are interested in that, maybe it is. And if you have a bad preamps in your camera, it definitely is, I think. But you need to be aware of your needs and how much you're willing to spend in your microphone, because $90 is definitely not in the beginner territory anymore. It's more like intermediate. You already kind of know what you want to spend. This for $40, I can, recommend it. And there are a lot of microphones in that kind of price point that will be blind recommendations for me, but for 90 it's a bit more of an investment. And it started doing the thing again, don't mind it. And that's basically all I wanted to say about the BOYA MM1 AI, which is all in all a pretty nice microphone, and I'm really thankful for BOYA for trusting me into making a review, even if I was imposing some creative directives, I guess, which they might not be always okay with. So, all that being said, thanks you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. See ya.